about comics. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics. Hey friends, it's Charles here with another edition of A Second Look. I want to take another look at a comic book that I've read previously and give you my first views on it. And technically, this would be a third look at Painkiller Jane from 2006, done by Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti. Let's see. Yeah, the story is by both of those guys. It is written by Jimmy Palmiotti. Pencil art, Lee Mulder, colors, Pilvi, Quesada. Letters, Simon Bolin. I wanted to go back to this because I can't remember which book it was, but there was a recent book written by Jimmy Palmiotti that I really enjoyed. I'm like, I want to go back and read this first Painkiller Jane book that I read. This is from Dynamite Comics. It is a first issue of the series from 2006, like I said, and it was my introduction to the character. I never got into the TV show. I actually tried to watch the TV show after enjoying this series, but it just didn't have the same ring for me. The whole vibe felt off. Subpar acting, and it was very stylized and slick looking, unlike what I experienced in the comics. And the comic does not hold back. You start off with this first panel here, complete darkness. She's bandaged up, half naked, sleeping in a bed, covered in blood. So you can tell that she's been through some things and that she has survived some things. And you get to know her through her inner monologue. And you find out that she has this. It's not implicitly stated, but you understand quickly that she has a certain amount of invulnerability physically, and that is something that she uses to enact her own brand of justice. You see here another character, a few pages in, leaving a retirement home, and she ends up calling our protagonist Jane to meet with her at a diner and puts her on a mission. And you find out that these two had actually went through the police academy together, but obviously Jane at this point is not a policeman. She is very much established in these first few pages as a vigilante, and she is sent to clean house. And when she says clean house, that means go in, eliminate the bad guys, no questions asked. And she mentions that how much she trusts her, and if she says clean house, then she knows that it is going to be something righteous and right. And we get into the next sequence. She's the address she's given is to a formerly crime-infested neighborhood, now known as a playground for the ultra-wealthy. And what she finds when she enters this premises, and she is cleaning house very brutally of all the bad guys, is that it is some kind of dungeon where human trafficking and exploitation is going on. And despite the fact that she's obviously seen some things, she shudders at what she sees in this. Now, one thing that when I first started reading, because this is one of the first new series I got into when I started reading, I guess old series, one of the first series I discovered on my own, organically in a comic shop. And I was new to reading comic books. And so I didn't understand a lot of the subtleties of art. So upon first reading, I saw that the darkness that the violence takes place in was something lazy or done accidentally. And then upon second reading, I figured, okay, well, maybe everything is so dark to hide, to shield from the graphic nature. But then if you read along with the Painkiller Jane series, you know that they do not shy away from the graphic nature of the violence and of other issues. So what is the point of the darkness in these panels? And, people getting shot, and the only thing that you really see are gun flashes and blood spurts. And I realized upon this third reading of this book, the point is is that all of this darkness, it really makes you focus in on the panel. It really draws you in to pay. You can't read this passively. It forces you to take in every detail that is drawn. And there were a few pages where the story is told surely through this art that is cast in darkness and very little speech, very little thought going, thought bubbles going here. It's all visual, and with that darkness, you're forced to stop and take in the gruesome brutality of what's going on. And when you slow down, you see that the darkness doesn't hide the graphic nature of the art, but it really emphasizes what's going on in those panels. And then as she leaves the premises after doing the job, it's bright and everything is in the light, and it's something familiar and really off putting that there's so much horror here on this top panel in the previous 6 or 7 pages, but then everything is bright and familiar and normal. And toward the end of the book, Jane is back staying in this abandoned room of a hospital with her doctor friend who stitches her back up after her exploits. And the series goes on from there. It is a very, very well written series. I've read it and other Painkiller Jane series, and I've enjoyed most everything. Some of them are a little bit too graphic for my normal taste, a little bit too much violent. Not so much in this Dynamite run. The 22 Brides run, that was a little bit iffy for me, but I still enjoyed it. If you can get a hold of this, and I'm pretty sure you can, I would suggest grabbing it if it's something that sounds like it's up your alley. It's gritty. It's not for your kids. Don't get it twisted, but it is a good read, and I'm sure that you can still find it because I got this one at actually I know the first one I got was from a local comic shop. Was it? No. Okay, I didn't get number 1. I got number 2 at the local comic shop. And then the first cover of number 1 that I got from a 99-cent sale from Midtown Comics. And this one actually came from another deep discounted sale from Nucadia Comics. So you can go on Nucadia.com and they had tons of these. I don't understand why, because it's such a great read. Jeremy Palmiotti's writing holds up to this day. So that's my thoughts on Painkiller Jane, number 1 from Dynamite Comics, 2006. Go check out your local comic book stacks. Go check out MidtownComics.com. Go check out NewCadiaComics.com. Get your hands on one. If you're a fan of gritty, vigilante-style stuff, I would say as far as a modern-day comparison, it would be something like Gunslinger Spawn, except for a touch more graphic. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, keep reading them books. I'm out.